Hello. Hi. You are on our show Scene on Hai. Thank you so much. Natalia Kusendova. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yes, that's right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for being on my show. Let me just give a quick, the best I can, your intro. Natalia Kusendova, she is the Member of Parliament MP for Mississauga Centre, and she is also a nurse. And we will be chatting with her on Ontario reopening, more specifically the Mississauga Centre reopening, and what kind of protocols are being followed and what our ministers are busy in doing. I've also noticed, Natalia, that you've been very busy in getting Bill 171, Building Transit Faster Act, getting that passed as well recently.
Absolutely. We're working in committee, in the Social Policy Committee. Last 2 days we've had public hearings on this bill. I'm very excited to be back at Queen's Park. You know, it's been a while for me as I've been in the front lines at the hospital at Etobicoke General. So it feels very nice to be back and connecting with my colleagues and, of course, hearing from the public about the bill that's in front of the House right now.
So can you just give us a quick rundown of the bill? What is the bill about?
So the bill is about Building Transit Faster Act, and it's laying out the foundation for our government's work as we expand, transit, especially in the city of Toronto. As many of you are very well aware, we are building a new Ontario line and expanding transit access across the Greater Toronto area.
Okay. Now, I've also noticed the light rail that is being built around across Ontario, spanning entire Ontario. Would this bill affect light rail as well?
So this particular bill does not speak to the light rail transit line being built in Mississauga, here in Ontario. So this particular bill is concerning the Toronto expansion, but of course, as you know, our government has approved the Ontario line, and we are moving forward with the next phases of its construction. Of course, because of COVID-19, things are a little bit delayed, but we're very thrilled to be building the Ontario line, which will be boosting our economy in Mississauga and also providing transit solutions for many of our residents. We want Mississauga to be a walkable, breathable city, and so I think integrated transit is one big part of that solution as well.
Now, when we talk about reopening and we talk about Mississauga, I don't think any interview would be complete without asking you, and I think my friends are going to kill me if I don't do this. When is the heart of Mississauga, Square One, opening up?
So that's a very good question, and in fact, I was tuning in to the town hall that our Mayor Crombie has held today at 6 p.m., I believe. I was listening to her, as well as our Chief Medical Officer of Health for the region of Peel, Dr. Lowe. And so right now, as far as I know, all festival permits have been postponed or have been canceled by the city of Mississauga. And as you know from our Premier Doug Ford, Mississauga, unfortunately for the time being, is not one of the cities that is entering phase 2 of opening. The reason behind this is because we are still seeing, a large number of cases surging in the region of Peel, and that's why we are erring on the side of caution. And you will notice that the majority of urban centers across Ontario are around the Golden Horseshoe is in fact staying in phase 1. Out of an abundance of caution, we want to make sure that we move in the right direction in terms of flattening the curve when it comes to our infection rates of COVID-19. And but what the good news is, however, is that places of worship are exempt from this regional reopening, and so thankfully we will be able to worship in Mississauga as of Friday, whether it's in your local church, at the mosque, or in the temple or synagogue. Places of worship will be open as of Friday, and so I know that the religious faith leaders are working very intensely on looking through our recommendations and how to safely reopen. We are allowing places of worship to reopen at a 30% capacity. So I know for my constituents and for constituents of all Mississauga, this is great news because I know that, spirituality and the ability to worship, has a great impact on our mental health as humans, as well as our total, well-being. And so really glad that places of worship are able to open as of this Friday.
Okay. Now, I've noticed that our curve has considerably gone down since the weekend. The weekend obviously had some numbers carrying on from the past, but recently we've had 240 cases in Ontario, and then today we had around 210. So what's the news from the office of Doug Ford? Are we happy with these numbers? Are we going in the right direction? And when can we expect Mississauga specifically to open?
So, the situation is evolving day by day and, frankly, hour by hour. And, of course, our testing capacity is also ramping up. So, naturally, we will see, because we are doing more tests in Ontario every day, naturally, we may be seeing a bit of a spike in numbers in some of the locations. I think overall, the Premier and our ministers, as well as the command table, is fairly happy with the direction that we are moving as a province in terms of flattening the curve. But we can never be too cautious because, we can't put a price on human life. And so it's really important that we do follow the advice of our chief medical officer. Okay. And we stick to the guidelines and recommendations. But, I do understand why people are slowly starting to be a little bit impatient. The weather is getting warmer. And this lockdown has it is taking a toll. I do see it as a nurse when I go to the emergency room. I do see patients presenting with mental health issues as a result of the isolation. And so we are very cognizant of that as the government of Ontario. And so we want to make sure that we have a good balance between, the economy as well as the health and safety of Ontarians. But in general, I'm pretty, pleased with the way Ontarians have handled themselves. And I know that the Premier is working day in and day out to ensure that we have the most accurate information and that our decisions are based on trends and based on data, and that we keep health and safety as priorities.
Okay. Now, I have a question for you, since you're a registered nurse as well, about WHO's decision. Initially, they said, well, the mask wouldn't make that big of a difference, so it doesn't matter if you wear it or not. Recently, though, as recent as last week, they've said, no, masks make all the difference in the world, so even if you don't have any symptoms, it protects you. So what do you make of this? What do you make of WHO's complete turnaround on wearing masks?
So, you know what, as any time when there is something novel or something new, as we know, novel coronavirus, this is something unprecedented and something that we have not studied in the scientific community for a prolonged period of time. There may be new information surging on, at all times. And so, I think it's quite natural that some decisions or some, direction may have been reversed by the scientific community. And I think that is okay. I think what's important to remember is that, if we are wearing masks out in the